Hi, this is Slimedog,
And Topo.
and today we're playing Foreclosed on the PS5 by Antab Studios.
Yes.
It's a smallish.
Public. Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Italian. Smaller Italian developer, published by Merge. This
Yep.
one was, and that's on the PS5.
Yep, and it's really good, although it's a game of sort of limited scope. It's not super big or long or whatever, but it has a really cool story and intriguing premise. But it's got a couple of speed bumps, and it's also super short.
But it's also not super expensive. I mean, a PS5 game for, I think it's $25 around 20-25. So I mean, that's not a bad deal.
Very affordable. Now, since most of this game is cinematic and story based, and we didn't really want to spoil the story, we're jumping into this level here that's going to be mostly combat. You can access the stage select after you beat the game, but whenever you do, we found out you always want to choose your abilities in game.
Don't use presets, because use presets only gives you like 3 of your abilities. These are your abilities. Show the abilities.
Yeah, you've got enough points to buy all of them if you
If you say choose in game, all of your points that you've opened up throughout playing the game will be available. If you don't, they give you like 3. They fill in like 3 openings, and that's it. They don't actually give you everything that you've already earned, and it's sort of like, eh.
Now you do have to go through and unlock them every single time, one at a time, because, well, there's a lot of questionable UI decisions.
Well, and also I think a lot of these are developed. They're PC games.
That could be, yep.
I mean, it's available.
Definitely
This,
it's a PC game.
I know this one's available on Steam and Epic and listed a few other, as well as Xbox, PlayStation.
So it's a cyberpunk augmented person type of game here, and all your power-ups are kind of abilities. The ones at the top you actually get through a story progression, so you don't have to worry about those. But as far as the ones you buy, some of them are useless and some of them are totally broken and make all of the combat super easy. So just to kind of walk through real quick what they do, this one lets you gives you a little bit more armor if you get in a tight situation. This one will stun guys that don't have armor, but towards the end of the game, most of the guys have armor, so it's got kind of limited utility. This one will fence in guys and keep them from running around, which they generally don't do anyway, so it's nearly useless. This one will push guys into the ground where you can then shoot them. It stuns them for a few seconds, and it also lets you go up and shoot them while they can't shoot back. So it's a good way to get rid of guys, but it's actually not as good as the lift guys in the air, which will pull them out of cover and do the exact same thing as squishing them on the ground.
Well, it lifts them in the air so you can shoot them from wherever into the air, and then drops them to the ground because gravity. So
it makes them a great little pinata target while you're at it. Plus, if you've got any of the guys with the shields, it whips the shields out of their hands.
Which that's very helpful.
This one is actually the game-breaking uber power. The generates a big explosion, and it can take out multiple guys. It always kills them in one hit, and it kind of breaks combat.
You have to. Will you equip them properly?
I did. Oh,
no,
right.
You didn't
select
actually
the powers. Okay.
You have to. So when you're playing the game, it might seem like, oh, I'm going straight for that slam in the battery. Well, as you play the game, the shield is the first thing that you open up. Then you open up the next. So you can't start out straight away with them.
Yes.
They open up as you progress, but once
Some
they
of them,
do progress, make sure you have enough. You have to get coins, the XP points, to open it.
They don't all start off as available, but as soon as they do, grab that explosion because, man, it makes everything really easy. There's also...
No.
You like that one? Okay. Because we were doing this one before. I'm doing this one.
Okay. What is it?
Oh, well, I gotta undo this one and then do this one. This is the one that lets you use powers more often.
Okay.
So,
That's
anyway, machine gun, this makes it so you barely have to aim. Bullets just go straight towards them no matter where you're shooting. And this one lets you use your powers more.
And again, you start with the first one, opens up, and you save up your XP points to upgrade it, but,
Specifically, the explosion ability is really where it's at.
Now, these little guys.
Now, there are parts, you see the little green box in the top corner? This is the collectibles in this game, and there aren't many of them.
To the corner.
Where is it? In the corner? Back here?
Back here.
There we go. Now you gotta find it's right there somewhere. There it is. Little thing, and you hit X and hold it.
Hold the X.
And
Ta-da.
boom! I picked up that collectible. It also gives you some XP. We'll show you a couple other ones in this level.
We're specifically showing you this level because it's chapter select. After you beat the game, you can chapter select.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to plat the game, which is not terribly difficult to do just by playing through the game and doing a couple of things specific when
A little bit of cleanup afterwards.
But since you can chapter select at the end, you can just shoot. What is it? Come to this level, and it makes a great. Go ahead and do your thing.
I'm waiting for him to turn around so I can get a stealth kill.
Oh, right, the stealth thing. Right. Sorry.
This is how you
I
do
thought you
stealth
were going to
kills.
grab that. So this is the stealth kill.
You zip him from behind and then mash the triangle button to.
Duck. Oh, I thought you were going to duck.
That was the explosion. Notice how it launched everybody effortlessly away. And
Any rate, tidying up. There's like you have to kill 100 with your telekinetic bullet or 50 with throwing objects, whatever. There's tidy up stuff, and this is a particularly handy level to do that. So
Yes.
if you happen to finish the game and still don't have a couple of the things available, this is a great way to. This particular spot, chapter 3, is a great spot because you've got enough enemies that are relatively good.
whip that shield out of his hands. That's you can. The shield guys are kind of a hassle, but if you've got that
Oh, yeah,
flip 'em up
yeah.
ability,
Can you even shoot through the shields?
yeah, sure.
But it's a lot.
Well,
But that's what I don't remember. At the beginning, when you first have shields,
I think you have to hit him in the head or something. Yeah, they're kind
it's
of
like
useless.
they're really, really hard to
I
get.
could do my armor ability too, but honestly, every ability pretty much uses all of your psychic
Telekinetics.
thing, and you have to wait one cooldown.
Yeah, but you need to show things like.
Here's the telekinesis. You can lift up this and throw it at that guy.
And
it
they
kills him.
are one hit
pretty
that
much
seems
one hit
to
kills
be-
on nearly everything.
that you pick up and throw.
If you don't do something like that or your explosion, you have to shoot them in the head a lot. Like, they're pretty close to immune to regular bullets. Well, unless you do all the hinky psychic stuff that we've got going here. Like the, let's see, clonked him. We're gonna run over here. There's 3 guys who just came in this way. Whoa.
Freakies, they're hit.
Gonna wait until
They're all the shield. Ew.
see, it's gray, so I can't get one hit up in him. Get rid of him there. And now I just cheese my way through with the explosion. There's better ways to finesse all of this, but you know, honestly, it's just sort of like.
Well, like I said, this is sort of the
Here's my
trying to show different.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to show off the different powers too. Oh, using my psychic bullets also uses my.
Telekinetic.
Yeah,
Okay,
so you gotta
battery.
make sure you've got plenty of heat left before you
Which
shoot
is,
guys.
as you should probably can gather, is the red bar up top there.
Yes.
And ta-da! Now this section has been cleared
Yep.
of guys now.
Bad guys. And then let's see if we run in here.
Go in here. Oh,
no,
there's
nice
a-
green collectibles. There it is somewhere. There it is. Zoom in on it. If you get all the collectibles in the game, you actually get a slight little addition at the end of the game. Honestly, it's really not super worth it. It's just 1 or 2 lines of text that sort of allude to a sequel, but it's, you know, it is
still
something. It is
something.
something,
I mean,
yeah. And they're not
It's
super hard
not
to get.
it's not required, but they do get you a pretty penny worth of XP, which is what you need earlier on
Yeah.
when you're trying to.
The XP is the real reason to get the collectibles. Also, there was some sort of a glitch or abnormality when we started getting them initially, when we were getting killed more often, which doesn't happen once you get the powers.
That the first one we got.
If you
yeah.
get the
You have to
powers,
go
you
down.
kind of miss it if you... Where am I going?
Any rate, first time I went through, found the green dot, and then look, there's the keyboard. You have to go.
This is one of those platform puzzles that they've got. There's a fair amount of these.
But
easy.
we were explaining about the green dot.
Okay,
So
green dot.
got the green dot thing. Ended up dying. If you die, it goes back to the last checkpoint, which on some of these can be pretty far back. And
Yeah.
you pretty much you lose everything that you did. So like if you bought that power, it's gone. It's So went back. The green dot was we didn't have credit for it, nor was it still there. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like lost to us, and it was kind of because was there a trophy to get all of them, or no? It's just to get the good end, get the bonus for the ending.
Well, and also there's the money. There are the points.
Well, yeah,
for
for
leveling.
more points, yeah. But I mean, I forget why we were so disappointed by it.
Some lifting you up in the
There
air.
it is.
Floating. Now you can just sit here and shoot him. Shoot him in the head, you do better. Shooting him in the head is very important in the beginning before you get all the crazy psychic powers.
But you were saying about the green dot. Gosh, could you
Basically,
just finish that.
there was a little bit of a hiccup glitch thing where if you died after you got the hidden thing, you couldn't get it again.
And you didn't have credit for getting it in
Right.
the first place.
And it might necessitate you having to go through and get it a second time on chapter select after you beat the game if you got all
So
the things
that
over
you
that.
can.
The green things are not that hard to find because the levels are very straightforward. As long as you kind of keep more than a passing glance at all the levels, if you kind of check in the corners and stuff like that, you're gonna find them all. So, is this up or down? This
No, it's
doesn't
just
go
there.
over.
No, up, because you have to up across it.
And
You're done there.
okay.
Left. Not yet. Behind you. Over there. Keyboard.
The art style is really cool.
Yeah.
It's got a fun art style, but the graphics, like, they get a little bit, you know.
I think they
don't
do a
hold
fine
up.
job with it. Well, no, I don't know. I like it. Like back there where you were waiting, there was like a bag of trash with a bunch of flies flying around. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the graphics aren't bad.
Also, the just as you're in a future where you don't really own yourself, you have to.
Yeah.
Your body gets leased by.
Because of all your expensive firmware, you're actually owned by a company or corporations. And the point of the game is basically you've been bought and sold by different corporations, and the bank
Because
is
you couldn't make
foreclosing on all of your hardware.
Right, because you couldn't make your payments or whatever.
So you're basically humanity is kind of at the whim. They kind of suffer under the whims of these corporations because they're being bought and sold as merchandise.
And you
because
also
of
don't
the-
see a lot of faces. They don't do faces.
Well, they don't
because,
see any faces. Yeah.
Because you're not you're not a person. You're a piece of hardware.
Mostly
essentially.
anonymous. Yeah.
Right. That's sort of the gist. People, they hide the faces and stuff. So it's it's a decent story. It's a quick playthrough. If you want platinum, it's not very difficult to do that.
Oh, and the translation's atrocious. You gotta wade through some really bad grammar and da-da-da. If you're playing in English, the game was made by an Italian studio, so presumably if you played through it in Italian, if you understand Italian, it's probably much much better. But it is
But it is a studio of like 5 people. It's a small studio,
very small.
Once again,
Independent.
no easy way.
But
Once again, no easy way out. Except for us. Thanks for joining us.
see you next time.
Bye.